Tara's local inspiration. Follow her on YouTube.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Tara, Tara's local inspiration, coming to you with my story time, my confession. Yes, I too got into an entanglement while I was married.
What?
I watched it. Jada Pickett's Red Table Talk.
Will sitting up there.
And Will.
He knew good and doggone well. He knew about it. August was Jaden's friend. That's how they met the little boy. He just mad because the little boy talked. And he looking at Jada like, now your shit out and over. Because you had to mess with a little boy. I keep my hoes in check. You don't hear nothing
I
from
just
me.
wanted to feel good. I was like, yeah, you did. August obliged. But I had to check myself as I pondered on making commentary, doing a commentary video on someone else's marriage. And I had to remind myself that you was married at one time. You was in an entanglement at one time. And I remembered how I felt during that time. And so I thought, instead of commenting on Will and Jada's marriage, someone else's marriage, I'll comment. Tell my own story.
Jada, I'd be ashamed of her goddamn
Tell
self.
my truth.
That boy
When I
was
was married.
physically and mentally sick. He did not
So,
need sexual healing from a woman over 20 years
I'm
older
not
than him.
blaming anybody for
But that's all I'm gonna say
anything
about
that
it.
has happened. Many of you that follow my channel, that watch my channel, know that I've been married a few times.
Yep, I have.
And this is not the marriage that I just got out of. This is not the marriage that I was just recently in. This was the marriage prior to that one. This is how my entanglement, my creeping, this is how that came about. I had been married for about 8 years, I think, when I began having an affair or an entanglement. My ex-husband at the time had been physically abusive to me more than once. He was an alcoholic at the time, and he had cheated on me. Found out that he had cheated on me. It was after the physical abuse. And to me, that was like such a betrayal. I had already lost respect for him when he physically abused me, when he beat me. I had already lost respect for him then. But when I found out that he had cheated on me, I lost just about everything, any feeling that I had for him. We were basically just two people that shared a household. And he was actually still cheating at the time, I believe, when I started my cheating. He was still cheating. So I was very unhappy. I was very depressed. And I needed an outlet because I didn't go anywhere. For the whole 8 years that we had been married, I hadn't been out other than going places with him or my family. I hadn't been out like anywhere like with friends, you know, out clubbing or anything like that. It was just work and home. So I went to my sister's swing out dance graduation. Actually, one of my coworkers, I was actually going to her, it was her graduation. I didn't actually even know that my sister was in the class at the time. So I went to support my coworker. She told me, come to my dance graduation. And it was at this little hole in the wall club. So I was like, yeah, I'll come. So I went to the graduation, and my sister was in the graduation. And at the end, the instructors were saying, well, after this class, we start in our next class. So I was like, I always wanted to know how to swing out. And so when the instructors announced that they were going to start another class after this graduation, I signed up for the class and I started going. And so my ex-husband, who I was married to at the time, when I let him know that I was taking these classes, he started coming to the classes with me. So we were going as a couple. I wasn't happy with him coming with me, and he knew this club that I was going to, and he knew just about everybody there. So I think he was kind of afraid that if I came by myself, someone would tell me something about him, or that I probably would hook up with somebody there. But anyway, he started coming to these classes with me. And then towards the time when I graduated from that class, I really still didn't know how to dance, didn't know how to swing out dance. I was still very nervous to get on the floor and dance because I wasn't confident that I knew how to swing out dance well enough. And so another one of my coworkers told me about this other place that they were giving swing out dance lessons, Oils for Us. And so I started going to Oils for Us, and when I told my ex-husband that I was taking more dance lessons, I asked him, I said, please don't follow me to these classes. I don't want you coming with me. I want this to be a place, where I can just go. When he was taking dance lessons with me, once we would finish the class and go home that evening, he would take me home and leave. Go out wherever he was going. He just wanted to make sure that I wasn't at that class without him. Then afterward, he'd gone on, tending to whatever he had been doing. Probably sometimes wouldn't see him to the next day, 2 days later. Sometimes I would go the whole weekend without seeing my ex-husband, without even knowing where he was at. But I didn't really care because I didn't mind him being away from home. I felt better when he wasn't there. Prior to me taking the dance lessons there, before I left the other club taking dance lessons, they had like a swing out event at this huge center, and I went with the swing out class at that time, and I saw this guy that I used to date, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's here. And I remembered I used to be crazy about him. He was older than me, and I remember calling my friend Keena after that event. And I was like, girl, guess who I just seen? I can't believe he was here. And he had spoke to me at that event. So after that, I didn't see him no more. Then when I started going to Oils for Us, taking dance lessons, I met his children's mother. And I knew that she was his children's mother because I remember me and him had dated years ago when we had dated twice before, when I was in high school, and then at another time when I was grown. But I remembered her, and me and her sparked up a friendship, or first we sparked up a conversation. And she was telling me about her kid's father. She said, he couldn't dance at all, and he started taking dance lessons, and now he's real good. And while she was telling me, I was like, I knew who she was talking about. And I said, I know your kid's father. And she said, oh, really, do you? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah. So her and him were still real good friends at the time. And I believe she called him and said, it's this girl taking swing out lessons up here. She said she know you. She told him my name. And so I think the next night I was there, he came up there and he saw me. He said, are you the Tara that she was telling me about, that knows me, that's taking dance lessons here? Yeah, it's me. And from that night on, it was me and my sister was there. And he said, well, he was leaving to go to this other club, and he was like, it's a fun place, it's a real nice place, you know, you can have dinner, this and that. He was like, if y'all are coming, just let me know and I'll pay y'all way in. So me and my sister left Oils at night. We were like, well, let's go to where he is. You know, he said he'll buy us dinner or whatever. So I think he had gave me his number to call. Yeah, he did give me his number to call to tell him if we were coming. So I called him and say, hey, we're on our way. So he met us at the door to pay our way in. And we had a good time that night. He already knew how to dance, so he was trying to give me pornos and this and that. And so I had a good time. We had fun. And after that, I went home and I was thinking about it. Yep, I was thinking about it. And the next day, I was at work and he texted me. And when he texted me, I think I said, well, call me. And he called me and we sparked up a conversation. We were talking. From that point on, we were talking, and I believe I was telling him about my marriage or whatever, this and that. And Oils became like our meeting spot. I couldn't wait to get to Oils so I could see him. And we hadn't started up a relationship like right then. We were just talking a lot, talking on the phone and stuff. And my ex-husband was hardly at home, so I could have a conversation with him freely just while I was at home. The whole time, almost like as if I lived by myself, because my ex-husband was never at home. And then, and at that time, he was actually sharing a home with his ex-wife. They weren't married, but they shared a home together. So, with me still being married, I ain't mind that. That was cool. So we were basically just seeing each other at Oils. Then one day, he asked me to come see him. I knew if I went to go see him, it was going to be on like neck bones. So I wrestled with the decision of if I should go see him. I was scared. I had never cheated on my husband before. And so my ex-husband had took me somewhere that day to get a battery for my car. And my ex-husband, he would always accuse me of cheating when I wasn't cheating. For all those years I wasn't cheating, he was accusing me of cheating. So that day he had made some kind of comment like me cheating or something. And I had a Keisha Cole CD, the one with the song on it, I Should Have Cheated. So I started playing that song. I had it on repeat the whole time we were in the car. And he was laughing because I kept playing that song. He was laughing at it. But what he didn't know is I was trying to psych myself up to go through with it, to do it. And while he was laughing and I'm listening to that song, it was giving me, I was like, yeah. Tonight is the night I'm gonna cheat on you. Yep. What? I was saying to myself, yep. Tonight is the night. I'm going over his house.
Oh, what?
So after we went from the place getting my battery, I went back home. I took me a shower. I think I called him, or either I texted him to tell him some kind of way. I let him know that I was coming. Can't remember. But I went over to his house. And like I said, I understand what Jada said. She just wanted to feel good. I wanted to feel good, and damn it, he made me feel good. Real good. I was in like fleeing from there. And it's like he went all out. He had the room ready, the right music playing, candles, all that shit. He was a professional. He wasn't new to the game. He was true to the game. And yeah, I went through with it. After I went to his house that night, it was no turning back. And he just was so loving, so caring. Y'all know the song by Sherelle? Everything I miss at home. Everything I miss at home. He was giving me everything I was missing at home. And my ex-husband was still staying gone, still creeping, doing whatever he was doing. So it was easy for me. It was easy for me to continue on with my entanglement. And I was continuing on. And I was really falling in love with the guy who I was seeing outside of my marriage. I was head over heels. And there were signs. He had a controlling side to him, but I didn't mind, because in my mind I was like, that just means he loved me. So being with him, I had been wanting to get out of my marriage for a long time. I hadn't been happy for a long time. But during the time I was with him, I'm not the type of person or the type of woman that can, like men can do it easy, or some men can do it easy. You know, have a woman on the side and show her affection, then go home to their wife or whatever and show her affection, be loving towards two women. I couldn't do that. I was in love with the man who I was creeping with, cheating with. I was in love with him. I had no more feeling at all for my ex-husband, or my husband at that time. I had no feeling whatsoever for him. And I didn't want him touching me when he would try to touch me, or I didn't want him talking to me, touching me, nothing. And so I made up my mind I was going to divorce him. Being in that entanglement or that relationship, that affair, it gave me the courage to do what I had been wanting to do for years, because I hadn't been happy. And so I told my ex-husband one day I wanted a divorce. But prior to me asking my ex-husband for a divorce, me and the guy, we had began, meeting up at hotels. He would get these real nice hotels to just tell me, oh, I'm here, come here. And one time, I went to the hotel, and my ex-husband called me while I was inside the hotel with the guy. And he said, yeah, I'm out here at your car. And I said, what? He said, yeah, you're at this hotel. I'm out here, I'm right beside your car. And I think I hung up the phone. And I told the guy that I was with, I said, he's out there, he at my car. So the guy that I was with, he wasn't scared or nothing. Like I said, y'all, he was true to the game. He was packing. He had his pistol, he cocked that sucker. And he said, well, let me go out here and make sure he ain't doing nothing to your car. Oh, he gonna defend me too if I get busted. Well, I done got busted. So he went out there, went to the parking lot, whatever, came back in. He said, nah, ain't nobody out there by your car, you good. I was like, take me. Like I said, y'all, I was in love. And so after that incident of my ex-husband actually knowing, yeah, I was cheating, I was creeping, I went ahead and I didn't admit to cheating at the time. But one day when he came home, I asked him to sit down and told him I wanted to talk to him. And I said, I haven't been happy for a long time, and you've been cheating on me for years. You done beat on me. So I'm not happy, I want a divorce. And he looked at me and he burst out laughing. He said, what? Who told you to tell me that? Tell him it ain't work. Ain't shit ain't work on me. And I said, really? I said, okay. And I had taken off work the next day. I went downtown Fort Worth. Went up to that floor and filed for divorce. And when you file, they put that stamp on it. You know, this is the stamp. You know, this person really filed. So he didn't know that I had took off the next day. He called me. And he said, my ex-husband, he said, where are you? And I said, I just left from downtown. He said, what are you doing downtown? I said, I told you I wanted a divorce. I said, I just want to file for divorce. He said, nah, you lying. That come show me the papers. So I went by his job, I think. I had the papers in the car with me that the lady clerk had stamped. And I showed him. I had filed. And he looked at it, he was like, oh man, you for real about this shit. I said, yeah, I'm for real. And he said, man, this shit hurt. And he said, well, just give me some time. I'll find me a place, I'll leave. I said, okay, that's fine. Because we were still living together when I filed for divorce. We were still living in the same house. And I believe maybe a week or two later, I was in the hospital with my mom. She was having a procedure done. And I was there with my mom, and he called me. My ex-husband called me. He said, hey, I'm gone. I done left. And I done took the furniture. And I said, you took the furniture? Yep. Took the furniture. Ain't no furniture there. And I said, why'd you take the furniture? I bought most of that furniture. He laughed then. He said, well, we married. In other words, since we were still married, I don't know if he had already checked into it. Wasn't nothing I could do. Because I went to try to file a police report saying, you know, that I filed for divorce and he had taken the furniture that I bought. The police looked at me and said, ain't nothing we can do. He said, until your divorce is final, this is the state of Texas. He said he can come back in there and take every stitch of your clothing if he want to. Ain't nothing we can do until your divorce is final. You filing don't mean nothing. I was like, dang. But I was still seeing the other guy. I mean, I was happy he was gone. Wasn't happy that he had took the furniture. Then me and the guy, we just continued our relationship. I was still happy. He put back in furniture that my ex-husband had taken. He had taken the TV. He bought me a new, bigger TV. So yeah, I was on cloud nine. I was like, for some strange, dumb reason, I'm thinking, now for everything that I done went through with my ex-husband, now I'm happy I got a man that I'm happy with, I'm in love with, who loves me, who showers me with gifts and things like that. So I was on cloud nine for the time being. And we just became this hot couple. We began throwing parties together, going dancing together, going places with my sisters, my friends. He was a spoiler. He spoiled me. And so for a while that was good. I was just so happy. If I'm honest, I would say that was one of the happiest times in my life. But little did I know, that happiness was about to be over. He kind of like almost moved in with me. We were together like every day. He would come to my house when he got off, leave my house, going to work. We were together about 2 years. Then towards like around, I remember it was like around November, he kind of started changing, and he kind of began making excuses not to come to my house at night. I remember him going to a Frankie Beverly concert at the end of the summer with me and my sisters, and I remember him being so agitated, like he just didn't want to be there, and like he just had somewhere to be, which he did. He was like a loan shark. He would loan people money and they would pay him back. So he was like, I gotta go pick up money from so and so. He would always make excuses that, you know, somebody who owed him some money, he had to meet them somewhere to pick up, you know, money. It was Christmas time. The shit hit the fan after Christmas. He was with me on Christmas Eve. He had given me my Christmas gifts. He had asked me to wrap up the gifts for his grandchildren. I had done that. And Christmas morning, he left. And he left in a kind of somber way. It was almost like he was leaving, like, and it was like he had the attitude of like, you know, I won't see you no more. He didn't say that, but thinking back, it was just the way he was acting that Christmas day. It was weird to me. I started calling, and he wouldn't answer his phone. And I kept calling and calling. And I called his mom because me and his mom had developed a friendship, and I would call her from time to time. And so I called his mom, and she said, I can't talk to you. He's in the hospital. I gotta call you back. And she said the guy that I was with, she said he was in the hospital. And I said, what's going on? What's wrong with him? And she said, I gotta call you back. She hung up the phone. I was like, oh my God, you know, what's going on with him? I still didn't hear nothing from him until later that day. He called, said he had been in the hospital. Check this out, y'all. This is what he told me. He told me that the ex-wife who he shared the home with had attempted suicide by leaving her car on in the garage with it closed up, like trying to kill herself from, you know, the carbon monoxide poisoning or whatever. And he said he was in the house, so she tried to kill both of them, and she was in the hospital in psychiatric unit, and they had treated him and let him go. And I was like, oh my God, because, you know, I knew that she had lost a son, because me and her had talked a few times. You know, me and her were cordial. We weren't like friends or anything, but, you know, we had a nice cordial relationship. And so I knew she had lost a son. So, and I had remembered him telling me that when her son died, she went into a deep depression. So I'm thinking, you know, okay, the holidays just passed, you know, holiday season, and a lot of people do, you know, attempt suicide, you know, during Christmas time. So I believe the story. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be praying for her. You know, I told my sister, you know, we were both praying for her, and my heart just went out to her. So I'm like, okay, be there for her, you know, whatever you have to do, just be there for her. My dumb ass done believed that damn story. And so the next night, you know, I'm at home in the bed, my phone rings. No, I get a text. Got a text first. And it said, I need your help. I need you. And this is the weird way she worded it. I need you to help me get your king out of his former queen's house. And so it was from her. You know, I knew her number. I had it in my phone. So in my mind, I'm thinking, they let them have phones in the psych ward? And I'm thinking, you know, the crazy wording is because, you know, she losing it, you know, she depressed. So I called her instead of texting her back. I called her and I said, "Are you okay?" And I'm whispering, thinking that she done snuck on the phone, which it ain't like the people can hear me. So I'm thinking some kind of way she's sneaking on the phone in the psych ward. And she said, "Yes, I'm fine." She said, "I just want my house. I want him out of my house." And she said, "You and him are doing fine. You know, y'all doing this stuff together. He needs to come over there and be with you, live with you." And I said, "Are you still in the hospital?" She said, "The hospital?" And I said, "Yeah, didn't you just try to commit suicide?" And I said, "He told me that you tried to commit suicide and that you're in the hospital in a psychiatric ward." She started laughing. She said, "What? I'm at home." And she said, "And if he's telling you a story like this, I'm worried about his mental stability." And so I'm like, "So you're not in the hospital?" She said, "No, I'm not in the hospital." I said, "Oh, so that's what he told me." And she was like, "So is he not there with you?" I said, "No, he's not here with me. I thought he was, at the house, at y'all's house." She said, "No, he's not here." And she said, "He hasn't been here for like the past few nights, so if he's not with you, I don't know where he been." Once I hung up from her, I called, but he wouldn't answer the phone. So I text him, and when I text him, I said, I let him know that I had just talked to his ex-wife. I said, "She's fine. She's not in the hospital and hasn't been in the hospital, and she did not try to commit suicide. So what's going on?" Still never heard from her. But she called me back after I texted him to let him know that I knew, that he had been lying to me. She called me back and said, "Well, he just texted me and said, you wrong." He told her that she was wrong for telling me. And so then I was confused. Didn't know what was going on. And I think the next day I went to work. I'm still confused. His kid's mother called me, the one who I had befriended. She called me and she said, "I know you wonder what's going on." And because I think I had called her, to try to ask her what was going on. She said, "He has another woman." And she told me who the other woman was. She said, "If you want to know more about it, talk to the bartender at Oils for Us. He knows everything." And that was the beginning of me just going through somewhat of a downfall, deep depression. Not saying that it wasn't deserved. So, I found out that he had been in an entanglement with a lady who was a swing out dance instructor at Oils for Us. The swing out dance community is a motherfucker. Spoken to her, complimented her. Me and my sister would see her at swing out events because she would do showcase shows. She's a excellent dancer. We would compliment her dancing and compliment her hair. And I can remember being with him and me and my sister, complimenting her, and he would criticize her. He would say, "Oh man, she in last place. She needs to do something about this, do something about that." And so that made me think, okay, he was criticizing her to me to throw me off, because when I found out that he was cheating, and then for her to be the person that he was cheating with, she was the last person who I would have expected, because I remember how he talked about her.
Stevie Wonder could see that.
And I was just so hurt. And he was in love with her. I mean, he was head over heels. He wanted to end it with me just like that. And so I would call him, he wouldn't call, and I would text and ask why, why did you do this? And then on top of that, everybody knew. When I say everybody knew, everybody knew.
Everybody knew, but you.
My friends, some of my friends knew. Most of them, I could say, knew.
When some of them say
I think knew.
swing out and switch partners,
I felt
they
like
literally
it was-
mean that.
And they
switch.
Because I didn't see it coming.
Stevie Wonder could see that.
Because of the way it started out, I was married at the time. Stupid of me to think, that the way it started out, that I'm going to have this perfect relationship. Y'all remember I told y'all how I started photography. And this I will say, he's the one who bought me this camera that I'm videoing myself in, that I'm doing this video in. That's how I got into photography. We were sitting at Oils one night. I had this little digital camera that my sister had gave me. I always loved taking pictures of people. And I said, you know what? I think I want to be a photographer. And he said, you do, babe? I said, yeah. He said, I'm going to help you do it. He bought me this camera that I still have to this day. He bought me the equipment, the backdrops and everything that I needed. And that's when I started taking pictures at Oils for parties. Making some pretty good side money, some pretty good hustle money. So thanks to him, yeah, that's how my little photography gig started. So I give him kudos for that. I started trying to get in contact with her. I was just like losing it, y'all. I was wanting to talk to her to know, why, when did this start? So I was messaging her on Facebook. She would never respond. But when you message somebody on Facebook, it would say read. It'll let you know that they read it. So I will know that she read it. So finally, he came to my house. He was still coming to my house, I think, yeah. But as far as like being with me, no, His mind, his heart was with her. He didn't want me no more. But he had came to my house one day, and he was talking about her. And I was asking him, why would you get with her? Somebody that's in the swing out community, somebody that, and actually we have been on I actually have a picture of me and her on an all white little yacht party that he had taken of me and her before I found out all of this. And he was still talking about her. And I had my iPad. And he had actually bought me the iPad also as a gift. And I had my iPad on record. And I was recording him putting her down, talking about her. He's like, shit, I don't want her. No, she ain't my type, this and that, this and that. It's like, okay. And so after he left, I messaged her again. And I let her know. I said, he talks about you really bad. I said, if you want to hear it, call me. So she responded. She said, I guess it's time we talk. And I didn't have her number. I said, well, you have my number. I don't have yours. Because that's not when Facebook had the message where you can call from. It wasn't Messenger then. You couldn't call from your phone. So she called me. And she actually told me how it started. She told me how long it had been going on. And she said, I'm surprised that you're just now finding out, because we've been going places. They have been like dating for like over 6 months. She was like, we were together this day, and she said, we've been going to swing out events, and your friends, people that you know, have seen us together. So I don't know why you're just now finding out. And she said that she had asked him, well, if you don't want to be with Tara, why don't you just tell her? And the reasoning that he gave her was, I can't tell her that. She'll try to kill herself. She'll kill herself. He told her I was suicidal, that I would kill myself if he told me that he didn't want to be with me. And she said he would tell her that when people saw them together while they were out, she was not to say that they came together. She said he would give her a script to say that they drove in separate cars. They were not there together. They just were there and happened to see each other, and they just danced. And there was actually one event that me and him went to prior to me finding out, and she was there. And I remember him dancing with her on the floor. I'm thinking, it's just somebody he dancing with. And I knew her from the swing out community, and they all danced, so I was none the wiser. But anyway, when all that shit happened, y'all, when I say I was crushed, I was crushed. I was hurt. As happy as I was when we were together, I was even more sad when it ended, and then like how it ended. It went from because I had no warning. It went from us being together like almost every day, spending time together, talking on the phone together, going places together. It went from that to when me finding out just nothing, completely nothing. And I was crushed. I was in so much pain. I would be balled up, just balled up crying. I couldn't work, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. It was a rough time. And even one night, I went in there and chased him and her down, because he would tell me that he didn't want her. He wasn't trying to be in a relationship with her, but he was still being with her. So one night, a lady called and asked me, did I want to go out to this club? I said, yeah, I'll go with you. I said, but let me call you right back. Somebody told me to call up to Oils. Called up to Oils. The bartender answered the phone. The bartender actually had told me how long it had been going on, what had been taking place. And I remember him telling me, you should come to swing out class on Sundays. That's when she taught swing out lessons, her and this guy, her partner, that they taught classes together. They would teach at Oils on Sundays. And the bartender would always try to get me to come to those classes. And I said, well, I don't want to come to those classes. And I remember him saying, well, you should just come up here one Sunday. He was trying to tell me without telling me, because that's when the guy would be up there seeing her, when she taught swing out class. But this particular night, I called up there and I said, what's going on? I said, are they there? And he said, oh yeah, but the class is about to be over. You won't make it up here in time. Before he could finish talking, I done hung up the phone. I done slid on my clothes, my boots, and I'm flying up there in my car. So the door at Oils is glass door. When you stand outside, you can see through the door. So as I'm coming in, I see him and her on the dance floor dancing. So I bust in the door. He sees me. He takes off running. I think she takes off behind him. I take off chasing them both. Why I was chasing them for, I don't know, but I did. I chased him. I think I cursed him out that night, and he was telling me I need to stop this and calm down, this and that. But I was like, no, you telling me you don't want to be with her, this and that, this and that. I did some crazy, stupid shit, y'all. You do some stupid stuff when you're hurt. And I did. And then another night, I was calling. He wouldn't answer his phone. And when she called me that night and told me, you know, what all had been going on, and y'all, she was okay. She was just fine with being the side chick. She loved it. She loved that she didn't have to be bothered with him all the time. She knew that he was with me, and if she said the script that he told her to say when they was together, she would have said it. I was like, wow. So she was okay with, even though she knew me. She said, and she apologized. She said, I knew he was with you. I knew it was wrong. She said, I just got caught up because, like I said, when he's good with the whining and dining part. And she said, you know, he did her the same way he did me. And it was the same thing. She was in a relationship. She wasn't married, but she was in a relationship with a guy that she said was using her. So when she got with him, you know, he started whining and dining her. And she said, no man has ever treated me like that. So I was upset, but I could understand, you know, how she could kind of got involved with him, even though I still didn't think it was right, but I kind of understood where she was coming from. But I was like, you know, but you knew me. And she was like, I know, Tara, I just got caught up. And she still wasn't willing to let him go either. She was liking being caught up. And so, yeah, this particular night I was calling. He wouldn't answer his phone, so by then I had her phone number. And then I was losing it, y'all. Like I said, I was doing all kind of crazy stuff. When he wouldn't answer his phone, I drove out to her house first. His car was there. So I'm calling again. I'm looking at his car. He not answering. So that's when I called her phone. And she answered. And I told her to put him on the phone. And then when I said that, I could hear her say, "This Tara." And she handed him the phone. When she handed him the phone, he said, click. Hung up in my damn face. He hung up the phone. And I'm sitting right outside the house looking at his car. I drove all the way back to my house. And the whole time I'm driving, I'm just mad. I'm just hurt. I'm getting madder and madder. And that night, something happened. Something terrible happened to his car. But I'll just say something terrible happened to his car. Anyway, so later that night he came beating on my door, saying something happened to his car. I was sleeping in my bed. And I went to my door and he was fussing and hollering at me, talking about something happened to his car and saying that he was going to do something to my car. And I informed him that I had been in my bed sleeping. I closed my door. So anyway, let's skip on from there. But I was still real hurt, y'all. Just really, really hurt. Couldn't get past it. I would just cry all day, every day. And it took me a long time to get over that. It took me a while. And my brother called me. Family tried to have an intervention with me because I was just so depressed, so hurt. And I remember having a conversation with his ex-wife. And she said, Tara, I know you think he really loved you. He really cared about you. And I said, yeah, I did. So the way he treated me, the nice things he did for me. And she said, Tara, That's just what he does. He'll do that for you and another woman at the same time, like it's nothing. He has the money to do it. That's just what he does. And she told me, she said, go to Facebook, go to this woman's page. She gave me this woman's name. It was another woman that he had dated. So I went to that lady's page and scrolled down. She still had pictures up from when he and her dated. And I remember Valentine's Day, he bought me so many roses, big teddy bears and everything. And she had the pictures of the Valentine's Day and what he had bought her. Do y'all know it was the same exact thing that he had bought me? So, while I'm thinking that he doing all this because he in love with me, and the whole while it was just, I think it's like now I think it was like just a challenge to him. I think he likes being that person that, you know, this knight in shining armor to women who are maybe lonely in bad relationships. And then once that part of it fades out, I don't know if he just gets bored and goes to the next one. I don't know. But anyway, I started to just blame myself. I thought it was, okay, this happened to me because I got with him while I was married. That's why it's happening. One day my brother called me. I was lying in bed just crying when he called me. And my brother had a talk with me. And it wasn't no, oh, you gonna be alright, this and that, this and that. He talked to me hard. Talked to me cold. He talked to me like a man. I mean, he really just gave me the hard truth. And he said, going around here, you doing all this crazy shit. Ain't nobody got no money to be getting you out of jail. Look, the nigga don't want you. He want her. You chasing him, and he chasing her. I mean, he told me a lot, y'all, and it hurt to hear those words, but I knew it was the truth. And when he said, he don't want you, that's when it just really got real to me. You know, I heard my brother, a man, telling me, you know, that this man that you in love with, that you want so bad, he don't want you. He wants somebody else. That's when I just accepted it. It didn't stop hurting, but I accepted the hard true fact that this man don't want me. He don't. And it hurted that he didn't want me. But that's when I just allowed myself just to be hurt, just to go through the hurt and feel it. Because, you know, my brother said, you know, stop calling. Stop taking this call. He don't want you. That's when I made myself stop calling him. And he would still call me. That's when I stopped accepting his calls. And he would text me to say, like, I'm here if you need anything. That's when I went cold turkey off of him. I stopped calling. I stopped accepting his calls. And my ex-husband that I had just divorced, or that I had divorced, you know, had heard about it. Or I think he had called me. And I might have been in one of my crying states. I think, yeah, I was in my crying state. And I told him, you know, I'm just so hurt. I said, this happened to me because I was cheating on you, because I divorced you. And y'all know what my ex-husband told me? No. Don't you do that. Don't you do that to yourself. He said, don't do that. He said, you was a good wife. A damn good wife. And he told me that I should have divorced him long before then. He told me that he knew that he had did me wrong, and he told me that he had basically cheated on me the whole time we was married. And he was telling me not to beat myself up, not to think that I wasn't a good woman. He was like, "You stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that shit to yourself." Well, he's street dude, you know. He was talking hard to me too, but he was lifting me up. And he's like, "Get yourself together, you know. Come on, let's go out to eat or something." And I think I went out to eat with him. And actually, we're good friends to this day, me and my ex-husband. I never had the desire to, you know, get back into a relationship with him or anything like that. But we call each other from time to time, check on each other. You know, we're still good friends. And so I beat myself up about that relationship because I felt like he did me that way because of me cheating on my husband at the time when we got together. And it took me a couple of years. It took me a while to get over it, y'all. I was real hurt. I was real embarrassed. I began to make bad decisions because of my hurt, my shame, disappointed in myself, and honestly, y'all, I was not over him when I married my last husband. The reason I married my last husband is because I was still very hurt. I hated Fort Worth. I felt shame because everybody knew. I just wanted to be away from there. And I was still going to oils, but I was trying to hide the fact, you know, that I was still ashamed and embarrassed because everybody knew. I feel like when I went, everybody was like, "Yeah, she the one that got did like this, she the one." Nobody actually told me, but I think some people did take pleasure in it because I was so happy, y'all, when I was with that guy. And I would post things, you know, when we went places, things that he did to me, did for me. And so I believe that some people took that as, you know, me bragging, me thinking, you know, I had it going on with this guy. So I believe some people probably took pleasure in him, you know, doing me that way. So they were probably laughing. It took me a while to get over that. So when I met my ex-husband, the one that I previously got the divorce from, I was still hurt. I knew I wasn't in love with him when I married him. I knew I married him for the wrong reasons. He was my way out of Fort Worth to get away from the guy, the hurt, and everybody, every place in Fort Worth that I felt like knew about it or that were happy about it. I just wanted to get away from it so bad. So when he asked me to marry him, when he said, you ain't gotta work no more, you quit that job, come work for me, I didn't give it a second thought. To me, that was my way to get away from the shame and from the hurt. Which I shouldn't have done that, because as soon as I married him, as soon as I got to Red Oak where we live, I knew I had messed up big time. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. And so I never told him that, and really I don't think he wasn't in love with me either. We weren't in love with each other. The reasons he married me, I don't know, but I don't think he was in love with me either. And so, and I don't think I would have ever gotten out of that marriage, because when I married him, I think I wanted to prove to everybody, you know, that I can find someone else, that someone else wants to be with me, or somebody else, will marry me. So it was for all the wrong reasons. So, and I would have stayed in that marriage. So I give kudos to him for being the one to step up and ask for the divorce, because I don't think I would have left it. And so yeah, kudos to him. My entanglement, my cheating, my affair that I had while I was married, it was a little different from Jada's. Jada put it on the August. Messed his mind up, whole little August. He gonna be alright. So, yeah. That's my confession, my story of my entanglement. And I will say to this day that I've gotten over that. I can laugh about it now. There were times that I would be just sad just thinking about it. Now I can talk about it and laugh without feeling those hurt feelings. It was something that happened in my life. I can't say that I regret it. I was in a relationship to me that seemed happy, and I enjoyed it, and I was having a good time. I was enjoying going out with my sister, having a good time with her, because that was the time when me and her really bonded, because we would have so much fun together, and just going out with my friends. And that was when I got into the group, the Black Barbie Dolls, and we were performing at these different clubs and stuff. So it was a happy time. I think I might have been going through a midlife crisis too back then, because it was right after I turned 40. So yeah, that's my confession. I guess the moral of that would be, don't expect to find a happy, perfect relationship when you started by cheating on your spouse. So, and that ex-wife that called, that texted me, who I thought was in the psych ward, to text me to tell me that she wanted him out of her house, they still live in the same household today. And this has been many, many years. So that's why I choose to try not to speak on people's marriages, people's relationships, what they decide to do, or what happens in their marriage. Because I done had a few of them, and every one of them I done been through some shit. So I don't tell no woman what she should do regarding her marriage or her husband. There's a song that says, sweep around your own back door, front door, whatever door. The Williams brothers. Sweep around your own door before you try to sweep around mine. And I'm not even famous. And look how embarrassed I was just in one city of everybody knowing, my stuff. So I just can imagine how celebrities feel with everybody speaking on their relationships or their situations and decisions that they make. So I just spoke on mine. Thank y'all for watching.
Tara's local inspiration. Follow her on YouTube.